The eighth law is the law of intuition. And the law of intuition says, basically, leaders evaluate everything with a leadership bias. Now, let me say something about this law, the law of intuition. This is so important. In fact, let me say this. The best leaders, when I shared with you on one of the other leadership laws, the law of process, about our leaders born, and I told you that some people are born with leadership leanings, let me just say this. Of all the 21 laws, this law is most closely associated with people that have what I call leadership leanings. If there's a law for, quote, the natural-born leader, it's the law of intuition and it's the law of timing. Because those are the two most difficult laws to learn. They're the two most difficult laws to teach. And so therefore, while I'm teaching them to you, I want you to understand, I realize I have a major task in front of me for the next few minutes. And the reason they're the most difficult to teach is because intuitiveness and timing are very subjective. And only people that have natural leadership bents naturally pick them up. So if you don't have natural leadership bents, you can learn to be intuitive, but it's going to be a long process. I promise you that. But let me give you the flip side for a moment. Probably no law of leadership puts a leader at an advantage more than the law of intuition. And let me tell you why. In the law of intuition, basically, it allows you, the law of intuitiveness allows you as a leader to see things and sense things more quickly than anyone else, and it gives you a distinct advantage of a leader. Let me give you an example of that. I can win a 100-yard race against the fastest human being in the world if there is a condition. Look at this body. There has to be a condition. I can run a 100-yard race against the fastest human being in the world if I get a 50-yard head start. And I just want to stop here for a moment and say I have carefully considered the 50-yard head start. And I'm starting to say I maybe need a 60-yard head start. And you say, well, of course you can win the race. Of course you can win the race if you have a 50-yard head start. It's the whole point of the law of intuition. You know what the law of intuition is? The law of intuition gives you a head start on everybody else. In other words, it allows you to win the race. The fastest person doesn't win the race in leadership. It's the person who got started quickest. Understand that. And the law of intuition gives you what I call the leadership jump start. It allows me to get going before anyone else can get going, and therefore we get to the finish line first. And somebody says, well, how did you get to the finish line? Are you the fastest? No, I'm not the fastest. It's not the fastest, it's the first in leadership. And what you have to understand is the law of intuition allows you to be first. So, let me see if I can do a good job teaching this law. The first statement I want to make is this one. In intuitiveness and in intuition, it's important for you to understand who you are, because in the area of intuitiveness, here's the way this works. Who you are determines what you see. In other words, if I'm a leader, I see everything through leadership eyes. If I'm a navigator, I see everything through a navigator's eyes. In other words, you and I see not what is, we see by who we are. Classic example is every once in a while I'll do something that's way out of my gift zone, just for an experience. I had a wonderful friend who loved nature. And I remember we used to go on hikes together. His name was Paul. And Paul would say, oh my goodness, did you see that bird? Did you see that ground? And he'd talk about all these things, and no, I didn't see it. Well, Paul said, it was right there. It was right over there. Didn't you see it? No, I didn't see it. Why did Paul see all of nature and I didn't see a lot of nature? Because intuitively, that's who he is. He's a nature lover. I'm just a Mr. Magoo walking through the field, not having a clue what's happening. Who you are determines what you see. For example, my gift is communication. I do communicating almost every day of my life. And so whenever I have to communicate, whether it's in training sessions like this or in major auditoriums and stadiums across the country, it doesn't matter. I'm not nervous. I'll be honest with you, I just don't get nervous. People say, well, are you uptight? No, I'm not uptight. I'm going to go out and do what I love to do with people I love to do it with, and I'm going to have a great time. And so I enjoy it. Why? Why? Because it's my gift. My wife, Margaret, who in her earlier years was a school teacher by profession, communication is not her gift. And I always hate it when somebody, because, they say, well, would you come and speak to us? Ask Margaret to come and speak to us, because if they ask Margaret to come and speak to them, I know what's going to happen. She's going to come to me. She's going to say, John, they want me to speak over here. What should I say? Now, let me just stop here for a moment. If you don't know what to say, communication is not your gift. What do I say? So over the years, because we've been happily married for well over 30 years now, she knows that no longer does she come and ask me what to say, because I say, Margaret, So now she'll say, okay, don't tell me what to say. She said, just tell me, how do I get started? How do you get started? And like maybe she's going to go speak at a banquet, I'll say, well, just kind of listen to what people say before you speak and play off of them. And somebody says something, you get up and you just start talking about that. And she hates that answer. Well, I'm not trying to confuse her, and I'm certainly not trying to frustrate her. It's how I do it. Why would I do it that way? It's my gift. It's who I am. Now, let me flip it for a moment. Let's talk about clothes. You don't know anybody as bad at matching clothes as me. I mean, I have this clothes closet, and I have been known to go into my clothes closet, close the door, and just stare at stuff. For 15 minutes, paralyzed. I'm a leader. I'm paralyzed. Kind of drools coming down my mouth. Mary will say, John, are you in the closet? Yeah. You need help, don't you? Yeah. And she'll come in and say, what are you doing? And I'll tell her what I'm doing. And she'll say, oh, wear this sweater, these slacks, and this shirt. And she'll pull everything together. And she'll throw it kind of to me, kind of like I'm a piece of garbage or something. I'm a beggar collecting things. Oh, thank you. And she looks at me, and she'll tell me at the same time, she said, John, why haven't you figured this out yet? Because she'll go into she'll try to help me with colors, and she'll tell me all these principles and all these laws of the clothes closet. And she can't figure out why I can't get it. Well, I can't get it because it's not who I am. It's not my gift. I'm not intuitive in that area at all. Now, what I do is, when she'll say, okay, this sweater and these slacks match, what I'll do a lot of times is what I've done, I'll put the sweater and the slacks on the same hanger. And a shirt, and I'll get it, and so I'm just set, because this is really great, because then I know, sometime when I don't have time to ask her, I'll just put them on. And so maybe a week later, I'll go in and put the outfit she gave me a week before on, and I'll be so excited, because I know they match. And I'll walk out, as soon as she sees me, she'll look at me, she'll say, are you wearing that again? Well, yeah. I could wear the same thing every day and be a happy man. Oh, she said, that's so boring. She said, you wore that last week. Don't do that. She said, people will see you. Then she'll go in and she'll take the same sweater and put it with the different slacks and different shirt. And I know she does that just to mess with my mind. And it works. And I'm totally confused. Or I love it. Sometimes I'll get dressed and I'll sneak out of the house before she's up, and I'll come back and I'll walk in the house and she'll look at me and she'll say, did you wear that? It's on my body. And she's saying, did I wear that? No, I'm buck naked. It's a mirage that you see here. Or I want to say, no, I had a good outfit. I changed in the garage before I came in the house just to mess you up. Now, what you have to understand is, Margaret still, to this day, can't figure out how I can't figure it out. It's not who I am. Here's what I want you to understand, and here's the key point. You're intuitive in the area of your giftedness. So whatever you're gifted in, you're intuitive in. And leaders are readers. They have the ability to read a situation. Why? Because they have some leanings in giftedness and intuitiveness in the area of leadership. So they see everything through the leadership grip. And what do leaders read and what do leaders sense? Since leaders are readers, what are they? Leaders are readers, number one, of people. They have the ability to see people. Not only just see people, but to understand where they are. Classic example, when I'm in a conference, if Margaret, my wife, happens to be with me, sometimes at the end of the conference, she'll say, a guy came up to you in that gray sweater. What was he talking to you about? I don't have a shot. I don't remember anybody coming up in a gray sweater. I don't remember anything that anybody wore. And she'll say, the guy with the gray sweater, the guy with the gray sweater. I don't remember the guy with the gray sweater. Why? Because she's very color conscious. I'm not conscious. If I could figure it out, I could tell her who was that talked to me and basically what they said. But see, I'm a reader of people. I'm not reading what you wear. I'm reading where you're going and who you are and what you're thinking and where you are in the group of people. Leaders are readers of people. They have a sense of where people are and how people feel and how people think and how people are responding. They pick up on that. Their leaders are readers of opportunities. Oh my goodness. They see an opportunity coming. In fact, they're kind of amazed. They look around and say, doesn't anybody else see this opportunity? Am I the only one that's getting on the opportunity bus? And they are. They get on the opportunity bus, and everybody else, they're around the depot, having a croissant, you know what I mean? They don't have a clue. They don't even see the bus. Leaders are readers of opportunities. Thirdly, leaders are readers of the environment. They have a sense of what's happening in the environment around them, and they can feel things. Number four, they're readers of timing. They understand the ebb and flow of timing and when to seize the moment as they can and when to let the moment go. Number five, they're readers of motives. They have the ability a lot of times to not only see what a person does, but have a sense of why they do it. They're readers of the future. I'm not talking about some kind of a person with a crystal ball, but they have a sense of what's coming around the corner. They can sense what's approaching and what's up in front of them. Number seven, leaders are readers of the placement of people. They know where to put people. They have a sense of what people's giftedness are. And so they kind of say, I think they would maximize their potential in this position. And finally, I think leaders are readers of the process. They understand process well. They understand that it not only it takes a while for them to develop in a daily sense, but they also realize it takes time for people. And they can kind of look at people and know where they are on their journey and how far they are from becoming the leader perhaps that person wants to be. But here's what I know. Leaders are readers of people. And the law of intuition basically says that if you can be intuitive, you get a head start. Now, one more comment before I go to the next law. If you find that this isn't a strength of yours, and many of you will be very frustrated with this law because it's a little bit subjective, I would just suggest a couple of things to you. One is find an intuitive leader and hang out with them. Because I have found that if you hang out with an intuitive leader and ask them questions about why they did this or why they said that or why they went there, that many times they'll give you a read of how they can see things. And if they give you a read of how they can see things, they'll begin to teach you to see those same things. I would say, secondly, also, is lead out of your gift mix. Whatever your strength is where your intuition is. So therefore, for example, when you get to the law of navigation, if you're a good navigator, like Chuck is, it's very simple. What you do is you start leading out of the day-to-day navigating with people, and you'll find that you're very intuitive in that area. Stay to your strengths because it's in your strengths that you can lead people effectively.